Go jumbo.
Vdića mo, vdića. What a booyah applause.
What you talking about? What?
Hey yo, what up?
Okay, hypothetically.
Hey yo, cut it out, bro.
Hey, welcome back everybody. OpinionOutlaws, Season 4, Episode 10. Final episode of the
Officially
season.
final.
And the only thing that you can say is you cannot say that. I have to say,
You cannot say it's a final season, bro.
I said the final episode of the season.
Yeah, true.
Final episode of the season. And usually we have a tradition over here. It has become a tradition, I would say like this, that in the final episode we do it like a recap of the season, what happened, what could be a better thing, what could be a worse thing, what were the good, the bad, the indifferent, and the themes that we would like to talk about, the things that we didn't want to talk about, well, we must, and we chop it up in a real nice parts and pieces.
Real nice piece.
Real nice parts and pieces. I'm going to ask the same thing that I asked in the last time that we did the final episode and the last time before it. How did you feel about this season?
Well, we gotta give us a little slack, of course, because we had a vision on how the season would go, but of course we had little changes during the journey, and we can't really. The plan was mixed, let's say like that. But heads off to us, we managed to kind of like move on from that and still keep this thing going on. Cause, like, to be honest, after the 4th episode, we were kind of like in a state of, should we continue with this, what we got going on, or should we do a little this and that, or what the hell should we do? Because we already had a pre-plan on what we're gonna do as a trio, but now we had to mix up and adapt into the duo. And in my opinion, it worked perfectly. Well, not fully perfectly, but for the circumstance that we have, we kind of like made it into a better thing, Sun is always bright on the other side. Let's say like that. But yeah, so in my opinion, it worked out pretty great. And as we see right now, you can, even funny thing, you can see it in the episode too. The first was kind of like, what's going on, niggas were struggling. But now it feels much more comfortable, much more in a natural state of course, there's things to always improve on how we create the episode. Like, that's things that we can do off camera. But overall, I'm pretty satisfied on how we have like managed with it so far. And how about you? Well, what's your opinion on how this season has gone?
Good question.
Because I know for a fact you had like a lot of emotions attached to the situation, and even though it might not show out, but of course.
Yeah, well, you're right. You're right in a sense, because we started off with, I have mentioned this before, we started off with Pyry actually, this podcast, and the other guy. I don't remember. I don't want to say his name because I don't know how comfortable he is to say his name. Mm-hmm. It is in the podcast, but
it is what it is.
It is better for me and for him also to, if the situation for some reason goes awry, is easier. But for Pyry, we started off, and from that original squad that we had, I am the only one now that is still doing this podcast. Of course, nothing to take away from you.
I am an add-on, but I'm a special add-on, you know what I'm saying?
Because it will be a day when we look at these things and say that, hey, it was what it was.
It is what it is. It was what it was. Exactly. Game is game.
Game is game. And I truly have had a vision that we would make these episodes with Pyry and with you. That we would continue. But then I spent time with Pyry.
You mean the afterward?
Not last week, but the week before.
Okay.
I have spent time with him one day. We went for a coffee and we talked about this. and he actually watched the episode that we did about him.
The first one, right after.
Yeah, right after.
Oh, okay.
And he was surprised that it was because he thought that he's like spokes on the wheel, like the wheel will just keep turning even though he's not in it, or if he's in it, they will be replaced. Like he's very replaceable in a sense. Well, he was half wrong because we don't have that big of a community where you can be replaced like this instantly. There's no way that we can find someone who has good opinions, who have good articulation, and has a commitment to come here in front of camera to talk about things. It takes a lot of courage, it takes a lot of practice, and it takes a lot of wisdom, in my opinion. Of course, when we joke around here is more for the effect of humor. Like we do it because it's fun in our eyes. When we joke around or say some, I would say, outlandish stuff.
Out of pocket.
Out of pocket.
A lot of out of pocket moments.
Out of pocket stuff that you maybe ain't supposed to say. But I also understand that right now we don't have that big of an audience where we have to be actually careful what we say because it will influence a lot of people. That moment, if let's say for example constantly we have 100k listeners, we have to, of course, not to like tone it down what we do, but more to see that maybe this is not the right word to use, because maybe someone's child would listen and they will learn it from us.
Well, that's what it is. The age group that we're aiming on, the audience that we have. What is the age group? Of course, if we have like, we're aiming more toward like teenagers and like people who are kind of like what, from 50 up and so on.
Yeah.
Usually, you know, you can loosen up on with that because people understand at that point. But if our audience would be like kids in a sense, of course we have to like make it in a sense that, you know, we're trying to, you know, advertise people to be respectful in a sense, but also have strong opinion without, you know, the cussing and all that.
Yeah.
But, you know, but right now, as Ida said, we don't have a big audience in a sense, and inshallah, we never know. In the future, we might. Well, we don't have to be careful. We don't have to be careful at all, and we can let most of the things loose in a sense how we think about it as well.
So that in mind, the whole point of the podcast was and still is that you can come in the podcast, you can say whatever you want, and right or wrong, it doesn't matter because it's your opinion. And Outlaws stems from the fact that it doesn't matter.
Out of the law.
Out of the law. However, then this happened where Puru decided that it's not for him anymore. And like we mentioned and addressed in our other episode, it is fine, it is normal, and it's acceptable. Everybody lives their own life and everybody chooses their decisions in their life. However, the last time I saw him, he seemed pretty happy as a person, and I was happy for it because it certainly was like a burden to him. When I spoke to him a week ago, something like that, it looked like it was a burden to him at this moment when I talked. Like Puru, just like me and you, we don't showcase our emotions that strongly, or if we show, you have to actually catch it. Like you have to actually be good.
Small glimpses here.
Yeah, you have to actually be good at it. A lot of people are not good at it. I challenge anyone.
Hey.
I challenge anyone. And then when that moment happened, like we addressed, it happened, we continued. The first episode afterwards, was a little bit awkward. Because it's not that we cannot do it, it was more that where was the void that he left to be filled. And now, as you can see in our episodes, the therapy sessions were 1, 2, and 3. Those were purposely done in 3 sets. And there were 2 shorter, but then afterwards, every other episode has been in the same range that it was before.
Like 120, 130.
Yeah. So in length and in quality, I believe it is have sustained the same. However, I also believe that we have to continue regardless of what happens. When it comes to whole season, in the sense of whole season, the first idea was to focus on similarities, but then when that happened, we had to little bit adjust mid-season. Yes, similarities, but maybe not fully on just similarities like we intended to start with. Because as we mentioned it in that same episode, in the last season we did for the differences. Like what are the differences between people? And that did kind of well. Like those some episodes where like people would send me clips that they were watching. So it felt like, okay, I see you see. I see you see. And this season we check the people who watch and who comment. It is not bad. Well, certainly we have done worse. Let's just say it like this. We have done worse, but I'm proud of the work that we have done. Could it be better? For sure. It can always be better, and it can always be improved, and it can always be seen, okay, which would be the next step. To my follow-up question then. What do you say? The good, the bad of this season?
Well, definitely the good one is our audio quality. That's the number one thing, because it eases up the way we communicate, that we don't have to hold a mic. And I even bet that our viewers can agree on the part of how the volume sounds. Because when we used to hand over the phone, there were like sound spikes or volume spikes between like takes, which can disturb the quality, and especially if somebody's just listening purely this, and they have the moments where they hear and shit like that. So that's something that we have definitely improved on. And then the other thing, at least toward the end, we have like scheduled it, like the meetups, much more efficiently in a sense. And yeah, of course the bad things, we can always like name a lot of random bad things, but as I mentioned before, we have to check our current situation as well. We can't like just bash on. Of course, if we wanna go with a like critical way of saying things, of course we could always improve on the camera quality on top. Not necessarily that the camera quality right now is bad, but like example, our lighting could be much better, and we could have like a, how would I say, clear office type of place that is kind of like separate, that people will recognize. Well, right now this is your apartment, but like a place that this is space of where you do your work, shit like that. How podcasters usually have like their own like
Own studio. Yeah.
studio basically. So that could be a one, but of course, like as mentioned before, our circumstances.
Welcome to the ghetto.
Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do. Of course, this is a funny. On the positive part, this is like a fun way of adding little color into between and giving all much more natural behavior that we get to like snack and whatever. And somebody might take it as an ASMR. You never know. Somebody might be pleased. Somebody might be right now. Oh, look at that idiot boy over there. You know what I'm saying? Hey. He's single, my ladies. He's single.
No, don't start with it.
Hey, we gotta advertise as well. You know what I'm saying? Beautiful man. Long hair, luscious hair. You shaved right now, but he has that beard, mustache. You know what I'm saying? The contact number down below. You can. You know what to do. Hey, and he. About the virgin part, you could make a change into that. So, yeah. But yeah, back to the subject. And second thing that we could also improve on is the way we structure our topics and how do we go. Of course, like I probably mentioned on the previous season, it doesn't necessarily mean that we have to like go by chapter, but that it would have like much more clearer structure behind it, that how we're gonna go off with the topic, and the questions. Of course, questions can come naturally. That's not a problem. But how we're gonna do the topic, for example. And then the other thing that we can actually improve on, of course, this is again crossfire on our situation, the timing, how often we publish, because that could also be the reason, thing that affect our publicity and our viewers. How often we publish episode per, for example, week or per month. So that's something we gotta definitely improve on, if for the next episode, for the next season. And then going back to the topics would be for just a hypothetical idea. Do we really want to do it in a way that we have a specific title of a topic and go by it, or do we want to free flow it on, like, for the day's interest, for example, that, oh yeah, by the way, I was thinking, let's talk about, sky blue or whatever type of shit, this is kind of like just an option, do we really want to go by the books, certain topics in a sense, or do we just want to go by the feels of what is the topic today fitting? And yeah, and also do we want to, oh yeah, you mentioned the thing that I suggested. No, that could be also one.
That could be
I
also
don't know it yet, but you might see it in the next season.
Yes, sir.
That's something just we're thinking about. And also, yeah, that's mostly the things that I got on my mind right now. Of course, would be always lovely to have critics on and comments on our videos, so we could know what to improve on and what would be interesting to put out there. But we got to do what we got to do right now with the options that we have right now. So yeah. But how about you? What have been some of the things that have strongly stayed in our mind that we have succeeded in this season, and what are the things that, in your opinion as well, we should improve on or has gone totally bad? Let's not take the Puri situation as the main point, because we already know that it came out of nowhere pretty much.
And it wasn't in control.
Pretty much.
I would say that the best thing that we have done right now is to get comfortable in front of camera. That's maybe the best thing that we have done, because it took me maybe 3 to 6, somewhere around that line, in order for me to get comfortable in front of camera. In a sense, like, we could talk and we could chop it away. I don't need to think about that. What do I look like in the camera? It took me maybe about 6 episodes. But after that, it has been always a little bit better and better and better. And now basically you put that camera on and I forget that there is a camera. Not in a sense of I don't know what's going on, but in a sense of it doesn't matter if it's on or if it's off. I can still talk in the same way as I do. That is the first thing. The second thing, the vocabulary that I use, for example, and you use, and especially the fluency in the language that we use. I've seen some earlier episodes, can I say it like this?
Good old previous episodes.
Whereas a lot of and maybe
kind of like empty.
And it starts to break, and of course it's normal that when you speak there are those moments, but when somebody's listening to it, it's not fun and it's not pleasant to hear someone and then keep continuing and then it's annoying a little bit. It's very understandable, and maybe I would say that 80% of the listeners would be okay with it. They would be okay with it. It bothers them, but they would be okay. Then there would be 20%, something like this, a rough estimate. 20% where they hear that and they say, I don't need to hear this. So these are the things that I would say in performance base have been on point. They have been improving so much, and I would say we are in a very good position that no matter in which podcast we come and no matter which interview now we give, let's say that somebody you become a high celebrity.
Hey, yo, what's good, y'all? What you need?
And they start to ask you questions that the big ass camera is there, right there.
Yeah. I was thinking about life and all that.
You don't even feel it.
Yeah, you don't have the stage fear that much anymore.
You don't even feel it. I would say those. When it comes to what have we improved in the technical aspect, for sure the microphones.
That's crazy, bro.
Like we cannot even argue like the microphones, and I had now a good situation in my hand. I had a good situation in my hand. Could afford to upgrade to this, so thank God we did. Because like you said, when the phone came in and went in and came back, and it was a hassle, and it was for the listeners also a hassle.
And it also causes the issue that, especially if somebody had something to add on that topic, you had to wait to get the phone or try to reach, which kind of came off when somebody was telling something and somebody said,
Yeah, it was.
But did you have anything else like for us, for example, when we do the 5th season, something that we have going on right now? Because like I mentioned before, in my opinion, the lighting is definitely something. And by you doing what you did with the microphone, you know what that's called? Investing in yourself. Investing in yourself. And as we can see, it has benefited us.
It has been benefited.
And best part about this, in my opinion, has been that hands are free. Hands are free, because y'all don't understand how much of a hand talker we are, in a sense that, especially when you are
correction.
Speaking,
Body language.
Yeah, we use a lot of body language.
Hand talker language.
I mean, technically we are, doing the hand signs and all that. Sha. But it helps, especially when you're overthinking the words. But when you do the hand gesture, you're kind of moving the excess energy to your hand, and they're like, this is the word that I was trying to say. You see, me circling, I'm kind of doing the movement on my mind, and I'm like, exactly.
So
muy bueno.
There, it came just naturally for him.
It helps a lot. So that's the great benefit of us having this, and also, if my ass needs to move forward all of a sudden or check something, y'all can still hear me.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's an example. I gotta go visit. We can still hear dumbass. Yeah, he taking a lick right now.
Well, and I appreciate it. And I would say it was a given. Now, would it have been right now or in the future? But somewhere along the line, I would have at least invested in some microphones. Because basically we are doing content. And we are doing podcast content. Basically, we're talking into the mic.
So it gotta be a good quality one as well.
Yeah, it has to be a good quality. It doesn't need to be the best. Right now, we can afford the best. Unfortunately.
Unfortunate circumstance, unless we rob a bank. What?
He didn't say it. I don't know who said it. I heard some voices.
What?
But lightning, I'm gonna be honest. I'm not big on this lightning and stuff. But I can see how it could help when it comes to content in itself.
Visual version.
In a visual version, I could see how it helps that there is a good lighting and a good angle when it comes to us that people watch.
The reason why I actually said the lighting is, because there is noticeable changes in tone of the videos because of the lighting. In a lot of cases, that this shade might be a little bit different. It seems like this is more browner. This is much more lighter, especially depending on the weather as well. So that's why I'm we would be beneficial for, especially when somebody watches the podcast more than they purely listen to it, to have a kind of how would I say? Not really organized, but kind of similar tones in all of the videos, unless of course we change our full-on environment from place A to place B. because now this couch is kind of like taken as the main office.
Yeah.
Based on the season.
Yep.
That is kind of like the main, and if we have constantly changing tones, they kind of gives off, cheap, not high quality, and all that. So that's why I kind of suggest.
I got you, and it's not a bad suggestion. I actually am fortunate to have this kind of perspective, because I don't like you know me. If I ever put a podcast on, I never look at it, oh man, it was a bad lighting, what you talk about. You get what I'm saying?
No, but like in a sense of a visual, because when we example, or I put the video on the channel and you like do the editing, I can see like the clip of it.
Yeah.
And the tone of it.
Yeah.
And then I kind of like measure it to the previous video, how type of like lighting it had, and I'm like I cannot see little changes in between, and you can definitely see that when you look example previous seasons episodes, there were a lot of changes in between the tones of the video, and then we had those technical issues of the video quality as well dropping, which we don't talk about that.
Hey, it happened.
It happened what happened. But even not going that part, but this season's episode, you can see slight changes, which it doesn't bother that much, especially if you're coming for the content in itself, but the visual aspect of it,
I got you.
affects it to some degree.
I got you. Yeah, for sure.
I'm sorry, speaking like
yeah, I got you. The professional.
Professionalism.
Yeah. But I get your point. Like, you want to be more of a like chronicle in a good order, that it gives the same vibe and it gives the same message, because unfortunately, you whether like it or not, maybe if you don't look at it in a way, oh, it is a bad lighting, you subconsciously are getting all the messaging from that, and one of them is the visual aspect of it, the lighting, and the colors and the infrastructure that we have inside this. That, for example, the mics, where they are, the shirts, everything. It plays a part, not a big part, because we are not doing anything visual content related, where we are moving an object, or we are wrestling, or we are not doing something that is visually engaging.
I mean, unless you like my pretty face.
I mean, if you're looking at for that kind of content, that's sure, why not? Like,
you know what I'm saying? What you say?
I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is. But our purpose is not to do that. Like,
what you saying?
Our purpose is to sit, talk, do the content of the podcast, and those are the things that we could improve. We could do. I would say what things that has gone terribly wrong, in my opinion, is the social media aspect.
Oh yeah.
Because I have to hold myself accountable in this. Not only I haven't had opportunity to focus on that, because life changed. For me, it changed in an instant. At one point, I was jobless.
Broke niggas.
Like, I was jobless at one point, and then it didn't take even one season of this podcast. I had a job, I was doing one project, and then I was running for office. I was in the election. So basically, in order for me to also make time for this podcast and to add up the social media part, was becoming a thing where either I add also social media, or I add the project, or I add social media, or I add the elections, I add social media, or I add the job.
Very tedious.
Like, it became this you choose your poison kind of thing.
Of course, we can always say grind it out, but it takes a toll. It takes a toll.
And then after the elections, that when they got finished, I was dwelt upon this project. Of course, the job in itself, I don't have an easy job. Maybe people can think that, but it's not an easy job. And however, these are all excuses to the end product, where I could still have done more work towards the social media. I cannot take that away. That I could be more active and I could take more clips and I could edit more for the podcast. And I have seen that some of the clips that I have made, they actually have gained a lot of attention. I'm talking about 2,000 people have watched it. 2,000 people that we are talking about, for example, yeah. Like think about it, 2,000 people to watch your video, it means that a small village has watched your, or a small school.
So that's a win. Win is a win.
You get what I'm saying? Like it is easy, of course, to compare that somebody else who has a big podcast has millions and millions of views.
But you gotta start small.
But somewhere we have to start, and neither of us is not a big shot celebrity, politician, athlete right now.
Especially one of us is very not that publicly out there anyway.
There you go.
I'm just saying, you know, not on Instagram, barely on Snapchat.
Where they can find you?
That's you just gotta wander out there and hope that I walk past.
You can find him in church.
Ooh, unfortunately, I haven't been in church in a while. That's my bad.
God damn.
That's my bad. But God is with me constantly. So.
Yes, sir. And that is the thing that I would say it has been gone terribly wrong, because it could have been much more better. I would say this social media part. Other than that, when it comes to like subjects, topics, the structure, those are more of a minute thing that if you just put little more effort, they would be much better. However, minute, but basically I have seen it for myself that if it goes to the structured, it starts to feel more an act than anything else. Of course, don't get me wrong, if it's a topic that I'm not familiar with and it's more of a topic that is very sensitive, then yeah, for sure the structure has to be well written, in my opinion. Not in the sense that you follow that structure to the T, but more that you remember. You remember, you understand. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
you see the vocabulary that I'm using? You see the vocabulary I'm using? And I ain't even, well.
Yeah. Don't let that train go away. Don't let that train go away. Write it now.
And because of that, I also believe that if you're speaking about a subject that you don't know nothing about, or you know very little, you are obligated to have certain guideline, I would say, which you follow. Not, like I said, not to exact like you do this, you do this, you do that, and it has to make a perfect sense, but more that when you discuss, you remember what you were discussing about, and it doesn't differ from the subject that you're talking to somewhere. You're talking about the therapy, and all of a sudden you are going and eating quesadillas in somewhere Spain. You get what I'm saying? Like all of a sudden the subject has been...
You never know that eating quesadilla in Spain could be part of the therapy. You never know. You gotta link the things too.
Do you know what's the best therapy?
I got a lot of options. You know what I'm saying?
To listen to God. You see what I did there? Yeah, I would say those are the things that, when it comes to improvement, good, the bad, and what went horribly wrong, those are the things that I would say would make more. I have think thought. I have thought about the optimization of our channel. That do people who actually want to hear this, does it reach out to them?
Oh, you with the algorithm.
The algorithm, and more so with the the research optimization.
Yeah. So, example, finding our name or
For
the
example,
channel overall.
For example, not even our name, but if they are interested in the therapy, masculinity, whatever the case may be, do they find our content for the people? Like, what's your thoughts on this? Because in my opinion, it doesn't reach out to the right people. Because there are, without a doubt, there are a lot of people in my opinion now, there are a lot of people who would at least be entertained of our content. If they don't learn nothing else, they would be at least entertained. However, I would say that maybe 90% of young guys from teenager to 30, 40s, they would learn something along the line. I'm not saying that they don't know stuff. I'm saying that they will learn along the line of the podcast that there is something that will touch them specifically, and they will take an example of it.
Okay.
What do you think about this?
Well, I kind of think that, well, first of all, we gotta think about the competition. That's very competitive right now on the social media platforms. Very competitive, especially in YouTube, because a lot of people are trying to, create something out of themselves, and they see that we jumped in. The podcast say ain't no easy one. So you have to have some type of niche to kind of like stand out. It's kind of to stand out because when you mention the therapy, it's very generic, and there's a lot of like a medical side of channels that have that topic, and a lot of like psychology's website that or channels that talk about it. So we kind of like, how would I say, drown underneath of all of them. So especially in this like phase of our channel that it's very small, so of course YouTube will not push it out that much underneath of all those other channels. So in that way, I would say we need to find one type of, even though it might be the generic topic that is already like overpopulated, but we would need to find something that kind of like pushes our channel underneath all of that mess to ride the wave. I would say. So yeah, I don't know who chose this, but it is what it is right now. We are playing in it in a hard difficulty, but it is part of the journey. So yeah, but would I say that it is doable? Of course, because how we've seen a lot of people use a lot of time on social platforms. So I bet there, like you mentioned, there is most definitely a group of people that would be entertained by our channel, at least, at minimum, or even to a degree, get some type of knowledge out of this. So I don't really have much of a clear way how could we do, other than, like I mentioned before, have some type of niche that catches people's attention. And we have to keep it in consideration that people's attention span is very small. I don't know if you have had this experience before, but you are in YouTube, and you see, for example, multiple videos. How often do you press the video that looks like it was shot in homeroom with a bad quality camera over the channels that are very very lightful, high contrast and all that, and has, let's say, high viewer counts as well? It's very challenging because we're like, we want to move with the pack. So that's something we have to think about to give ourselves some type of more visibility. And like you mentioned before about the TikTok, it's surprising that 2,000 people, but that's an easy platform because even though you might not be constantly be pushed by TikTok, but because people scroll so much that it will eventually pop up out of there, and then it gotta do its own magic with our work that we have done pretty much. So yeah, that's most definitely something that would need to be worked on, us publicizing or kind of like trying to push out our channel more on the other platform as well, not just only YouTube, because YouTube in itself is very competitive. So it needs something around, some type of foundation around it.
My next question is, what did you think about the Spotify?
The Spotify was very great idea, because as the friend of yours, as she kind of I heard by side. Wait, I know you're watching, but what I heard her saying that she listens to it. At least it seems that she listens to it more than she watches it. So the Spotify thing is very convenient because people can example, if they want to switch up on listening music and have something much more knowledgeable or entertaining in a sense, they can like start listening to this. And this also, because Spotify is a very big platform as well, there's a high likely that some people will be driven to listen to our channel. So yeah, that was a great move. That was definitely a great move. But I would still suggest that we gotta ride the wave on the platforms that are, how would I say, hyped and very overly used right now. That's the easiest way to kind of like have traffic come to our like the main channel.
Yeah, and I don't know how many of you have watched our TikTok, but basically, when I post something there, depending on the video and depending on the context, it always does about 800 to 1K viewers. Always. When I first started posting, it was like 200 to 300. You get what I'm saying? But when you post the right time, when you post the right content, when you post something that it attracts the viewer, even the TikTok wants to show it more because it will make people be in the app more. That's why algorithm works the way it works.
Yep, snowball effect. Snowball effect.
There you go. You know this, you are a programmer. If you create an app, you want people to use that app. How do you make them use that app? Well, you make something that is very attractive, that is very entertaining, that is very attention-seeking for that app. TikTok, unfortunately, from all the others, is the best one for this. And like you said, because people use it so much, eventually, somewhere along the line, it will hit our content. And it's funny because you can see, we had one video where I was talking about success and failure, and I said there that you cannot fail constantly. Like you cannot just go down, because somewhere along the line you will get back up. Somewhere the camel's straw will break.
I don't know if you want to break it like that, but yeah, damn.
Well, not from here, but like somewhere it will break because you cannot be eternally just failing in life.
You get that momentum going on.
But somewhere along the line you will succeed. Now, of course, there's a difference that if you fail and then you stop, then of course nothing will happen. If you stop, but let's say you continue and you fail and you fail, continue. There guts to be a point. There is just a mathematically, equationally impossible that you just fail. You will rise, you will continue. And I posted this clip because I was talking about this stuff, and I posted this clip in TikTok, and the first time in my life people in comments were arguing. And I felt some type of way because in the first hand,
you want more beef.
No, in the first hand, I was not in me.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
People, somebody else were arguing with somebody else in the comments.
We need more of that. We need opinions be pushed.
And I felt two type of emotions because first one, I was proud. I have to say, I was proud that I did a content where people actually engaged and had that discussion with each other, and it wasn't like no, you trash. It wasn't like kind of discussion, but
like
it was actually
civilized.
Yeah, it was actually like it was more of a where do you see the success? Well, success is from a place that you are, from a place that you will be, the where you have reached. And they had this discussion. It was very interesting, but it made me feel some type of way because the first part was that okay, they are arguing about the content that we made, about the subject that we made. But then the other part was that, yeah, I like that they are arguing this, but this has never happened to me before. So let's see how this goes. And I would like to have those kind of platforms and content where people civilizedly argue about stuff there. Of course, I understand it's near impossible that we have that kind of content, especially for a long time, for a long period of time. And I also believe that we have to engage more in these. Now, Spotify, I have downloaded there weekly now, because I'm downloading from the first episode in English, not even in Finnish, but in English from the first episode. And you actually have been
So second season, pretty much.
first season.
First, oh yeah,
But
the transition. From
like the technically in the second season, but the first
transition
season.
from like I got you.
The first season, and there was your episode, the first one that you did, accountability and responsibility.
Legendary.
Feet bucket.
Legendary.
But it was, and there is also that episode, if you want to check it out, the first time that he was as a guest actually.
Promotion, this crazy promotion going on.
Hey, you worked your way up, so game is good.
Yeah, corporation, right there.
Game is game. I'm downloading now the episodes like weekly, and I'm doing it because I would, in my opinion, it's better for people who want to listen to in the Spotify, have it way easier that, okay, they can press the episode that they want and they have that chronicle order rather than I just dump everything that we have done right so far.
Good luck.
We are just boop, like every episode, go check it out. No, I'm doing it. And I have to say also in that we have some 30 hours or something that people have watched it or played it.
That's good. Slow momentum.
So slowly, a little bit here and there.
Effect.
Here and there.
Hey, that's the silent work, you know. We just gotta keep that in mind. It's silent work, and later on, when the fruits start popping out, we shouldn't be surprised why it happened like that.
All of a sudden, it was an overnight success, right?
Exactly. Hey, you will see the signs. Quote unquote, you will see the signs.
My guy, do you think we could have other more platform, or we do something different in these platforms that could engage people? What you think?
Actually, I have thought about it. Well, just the second that you mentioned, I already had a vision in my head. But it's kind of like questionable in a sense of. Did you still have the Instagram? Does Opinion Outlaw have their own Instagram? Okay, cool.
How did you not know?
Because I know I'm just trying to like.
Are you? Wait a second.
What?
Are you telling me?
What?
Co-host, one who is coming here day in and day out to do a podcast. You don't know that we have an Instagram?
I don't have an Instagram, so that's
you don't have, but you should know that we have an Instagram.
Yeah, but I haven't seen the content, you know, that is being published in that website. So.
Why? Is you gay?
Gee. That's crazy, bro. That's just bashing somebody for no reason. That's crazy, bro. I thought we were supporting each other and all that. You just go throw me under the bus and drive the bus on top of it.
I'm sorry, bro.
That's crazy. No. I was talking about...
Yeah.
Because one platform that is very also efficient is Snapchat. Ironically, even though a lot of people be like, who uses Snapchat anymore? But I've noticed a lot of big, like, even celebrities or social influencers use Snapchat nowadays more actively because they notice, you know, when we say people's attention span is short, you know, Snapchat has the habit that it, or not habit, but for example, videos are 10 seconds short. And you can skip them forward and go back if you need it, especially if it's published on my story or whatever it is. And surprisingly, a lot of people still use it to this day. So that's one. And I've noticed even in Finland, like even small publisher, a lot of them have like few Ks of like constant like viewers who follow, you know, because you know it doesn't take anything out of them and people use it constantly, so it's kind of like automatic way of, you know,
same like TikTok, like
pretty much
somewhere it will gain attention. Yeah.
And based on how like the viewer amounts that I've seen on certain like quote unquote influencers, not really influencers yet, but in a sense they are influencers because they publish whatever, but still like kind of like a regular Joes that literally just take a couple pictures of themselves during the day and that's it. Nothing really, no advertisement, no nothing, just somebody take a picture of themselves. And then I check the viewer amounts, of course nothing crazy, But even for that reason, somebody having 4 point something K is like,
Yeah.
damn, bro. Y'all all wanna like keep up with this person's life? Because literally, most of the social media is like keep up with Kardashian, pretty much. No, not even joking. It is because we like, why would you follow somebody who's living a regular life, or not even regular, but overall, like, why do you want to constantly watch somebody else's life when you can live your own life? We keeping up. We just want to keep up with the other. Of course, there can be other reasons, attractiveness, whatever. But still, for that many people to keep up with your life,
That's great.
that's great. So that's why I'm like, there's one platform that could be also taken over.
Okay.
The only bad thing about, I'm not gonna say too much because if you're gonna use it, I don't want somebody to start bashing me. But something that I've noticed that they have really bad about is that they have very restrictive rules on things that you can publish.
Okay.
Like anything, for example, anything related to guns is automatically. Funny thing, you can like mostly put freaking soft porn and you're good to go. But at least how I see, they try to like restrict things to be more kid friendly, family friendly, or whatever. So that's something that we might have some certain gray areas where we.
Okay. But we don't say anything about guns in a specific way. Of course, if you're
but
not.
that's like what latest example that I remember.
But I get what you're saying. That if we are talking about something very sensitive, or that is very not non-kid friendly, then yeah, they would look at it more. Brother, we like you. We don't like you that much.
They'll be like, I see how you're moving. I like how you move, but sometimes you're moving too much. And you're like, what the hell?
Yeah, I got
That's
you.
one way.
I got you.
Have you had other options in your head? Have you thought about some other things?
Believe it or not, TikTok was one of my go-tos that would make not only that I would like just clip the video that we have done, but let's say we are doing something and then I record it.
Sure.
For example, like that. Hypothetical.
There's something.
But I would do it like that, or I would make the same video that we did. I don't know if you remember.
The one in university? Mm-hmm. I remember.
Where
You didn't have to tell the whole story, I know.
Where-
What you're talking about.
I'm walking, and the guy is with the camera. It was, and I remember when I first uploaded it, it gathered so much attention, and I started to remember like, why is that? Well, there was music in it, there was movement in it, and there was this whole picture where people actually could feel like they are watching with you. They are with you with that engagement. And I remember when I did that, I said to myself that I should do more of these. More of these. And I have also got a lot of comments that, hey, that's a nice butt.
Oh yeah. Bro, that's gay. That's gay.
I've got from all gender.
That's gay, bro. That's gay. I'm just saying.
What about if a lady says it? Is that gay?
Crossing the dark area.
She
But
said
that's
it.
gay, bro.
She said it.
That's gay, bro.
That's not gay.
That's gay.
She said it.
You proud about being having your nails? That's gay, bro. You
What do you mean?
advertising to niggas? That's gay, bro.
We have a problem. And
Now somebody's gonna bash us. Oh, you say something about gay. I'm like, what?
yeah, he said it.
Shit. Cancel culture.
Yeah. But then you mentioned now the Snapchat. I haven't thought about it, but like you said, I know that there is a lot of engagement. I don't personally use Snapchat that often, and it's more of a, I'm not that texter guy. I don't text a lot. I don't like to text. I don't like to even have a phone call. And the only reason I have a phone call is, for example, like a homeboy.
Where you at? Nigga, I'm jacking off. Let me be.
Why you saying gay stuff right now? What's wrong with you?
Hey, that's straight up stuff.
Oh no, that's gay.
That's straight up.
That is gay.
What you mean?
You're giving pleasure to a man, and a man is giving pleasure to you.
That's crazy way. That's crazy.
That
way
is
out.
gay.
That's crazy way out.
That is gay.
That's crazy.
Jacking off. Exactly. Tell me what's the other word for jacking off? You're giving pleasure to a man, and a man is giving pleasure to you.
Bro, that's crazy, bro.
That is gay.
That's crazy, bro. That's crazy, bro.
Jesus. Jeez.
That's crazy, bro. I'm telling you, that's crazy, bro.
That's gay. Anyway, past that. Past that. Because he's saying too much gay stuff. I don't like this.
Hey yo, putting blame on me, Tom. That's crazy, bro. That's crazy, bro.
Snapchat, I don't use it that much, but I seen that, like you said, there are a lot of like interacting, and not in just like personal, individual, but the companies, for example. I saw so much people interacting with the police in Snapchat. That was, for me, it was flabbergasting.
Even I did one. I'm like, what's good, but people.
It wasn't interesting because I could not fathom the fact that a police officer, their job is to protect and serve, to keep the laws in order. And they're using Snapchat as a means to showcase what is the police officer's work, what is their job, what they do in their life. Which I kind of understand what they were trying to do.
Hey, they're trying to kind of like reconnect with community.
Exactly.
It's just because we already have kind of like a very, at least a lot of us have very bad vision.
Oh, really?
Of police.
Do you have any?
I know personally I'm good, I'm just, chilling, I'm a good citizen and all that. But, based on like certain songs and ways, so that's like a very convenient way of them like rebranding the whole like
humanizing. Because I also empathize with the police officers because their job it's not some glorious work. Most of the work that they do is not fun, is not exciting, and most importantly, is not something that is very sexy in a sense.
Wait, what you mean? There might be some.
Arresting the drunk guy is not sexy.
I mean, some of them might like the cops and, I don't know.
I'm not saying that the job in itself, the profession is not respected. From that away, job in itself, like doing the job, is not something that you wake up and say, let's do it. Like, you get what I'm saying?
Hey, let's catch them.
But and because they need to be more cynical, in my opinion, they need to be more cynical because there are situations where if they are emotional, they cannot do their job. Because they become more cynical, also the humanization part tones down. It becomes dehumanized police officers, which is a really bad thing because they also have lives, they also have families.
Blue lives matter, huh?
Blue lives matter, exactly. You know what I'm talking about.
Hey, that's crazy, bro.
No, it's not crazy. I actually have respect for police officers.
I'm just joking.
He's not joking.
Wait, what you mean, bro? Put me blast off. Next thing you see, welcome to our season. Yeah, you might have noticed we are missing one co-host.
Hey,
unfortunate circumstance happened, and rest in peace. What?
Who said that?
Who said that?
Because they try to humanize themselves again and be like human beings again to the people that they are serving. The Snapchat is very easy because they just write something that they need to write and then post it. That's it. Like, it's very easy. Instagram, TikTok, you need to take more time in order to think about the things and do the things and put the places. In Snapchat, it's more of a free, fluent way that you don't even need to take a good picture or good lighting or great content or anything. You just
some people this is a perfect snap, move on. Or and also fun thing is that they have also this video way of doing, because Snapchat, you can take snaps or you can take a video like version of it, and then also the appeal of it is that the video and pictures kind of like deletes themselves after a certain period of time, so that also kind of like gives up appeal in a sense compared to like publishing something to Instagram and you gotta manually delete it or something like that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. No, I haven't thought like any platform more. One thing I have thought is YouTube Shorts. Could be the case.
Could be.
Could be. I don't know how much it is engaged. People use it. I know that much because if it wasn't in use, people like it wouldn't be a thing. YouTube would just take it out. But it is in usage and it's a very high usage. I just don't know how much it's engaging for people. But I've seen like not only us, we haven't done it, but I've seen other podcasters use it a lot, like YouTube Shorts.
And I have used it as well. Like, it's not the thing that I usually from Shorts, at least personally, I usually tend to look for edits or very something short clip. Very rarely it is something that I want to see the whole thing. Yeah, like in that sense. So it kind of like is good. But at the same time, not necessarily.
Yeah.
It's more like if you want to put something that very but I'm kind of like crossfire with this. But of course, then there is those clips that were like, okay, I want to see the rest of the thing, So it is kind of like iffy, but that, and also it's actually in a way much more easier than TikTok because you're kind of like already on that YouTube, so you can like put the link for the channel on the same comment or description or whatever of that snapshot, so somebody can automatically press from it to go straight to the video, and same platform, so it just automatically switches to that. So in that sense, I would just kind of like understand to pick that as a next tool as well.
Maybe I'm just suggesting, like, let's try it out because.
What, your next thing you're gonna say we gotta start use Yahoo?
No, what do you mean Yahoo?
What, Gmailing people?
Yeah, that would actually fire.
And start our own Teams meeting.
Do you know what would be fire? To contact Netflix. Hey, listen. Hey, listen. We have a great channel. Would you like to sponsor it? Like very arrogantly. I know they won't. Well, all I'm saying.
You gotta try.
You never know.
You gotta try.
You never know. All of a sudden, we are not Opinion Outlaws anymore, but we are casted in some movies and series.
Netflix. Netflix original.
Netflix original. All of a sudden, this man is playing a part somewhere. I'm playing a part somewhere, and all of a sudden, big movie stars, huh? Next Denzel Washington.
Get your hands out of my way. Absolute foolery.
Oh man. Yeah, that was one thing that I thought about one day, that what about YouTube Shorts? I don't use it that much, so like I said, I don't know the engagement, how it is. Instagram, TikTok, for sure. Snapchat maybe is the easiest. Like those are the things that we could improve, especially on TikTok. Like in TikTok, Snapchat, we could try, but on TikTok for sure,
100, I know for 100.
For sure, it needs to be more active and it needs to be more proactive, and it needs to be more engaging. Like, hey, what you think about this? What you think about that? Leave a comment below. Tell me this.
Subscribe.
And we could even do one better. To have a TikTok live.
True. At least then you would get like that interaction as well.
Every human being, or Instagram live, or whatever.
Well, that would turn more to the streamer side, which could be as well, very competitive as well, but that would be one way.
These are just ideas.
Options.
However, we will dwell on these like more specifically when we are doing the next things and the next episode and next season actually, which again I come to the next question. Do you see the segues 3 out of 3? What do you think about the next season? Do you have any thoughts?
On like what you mean exactly?
Thoughts.
Thoughts. I got a lot of thoughts, bro. Whoa, wait, what? What?
I'm talking about in general. How do you feel about the next season? What are your expectations? Do you have anything in mind specifically that you want to talk about? Any subject, any topic? Do you have any guests that you want to bring here? Do you have anyone who you want to bring here that we haven't invited yet? Is there something, is there any idea that you have right now for the next season?
Well, that's what I've told you like previously as well, is I would definitely like us to bring out noticeably more like guests in a way, because it kind of like forces us to have more opinions, because by now, especially if somebody has kept up with us, they can kind of like predict to a degree our opinions and what we're gonna say and what so on and so on. So us having somebody new that they haven't seen before could be very beneficial for us, because they can put up something new. And the thing that we mentioned in our previous season that we could actually do is bring a female guest, which would be very beneficial to get a view from somebody who's from the opposite side of our gender spectrum. Because two genders, I ain't doing that crazy shit. And then, yeah, that's definitely something. Do I have like expectation? I would say right now, not at all, because I'm not trying to put pressure onto us to have something. Oh, by this day we gotta make 15 episodes at least minimum. But I would expect us to have a much more, I would say, organized schedule, but also with the, how would I say, flexibility of, you know, circumstances of work, whatever it is. And then the things that I mentioned previously about, you know, how would we do the episode, and of course the thing that we keep our episodes as natural as possible. Of course, you know, the slight improvements that I mentioned we can do here and there is like for the visual and audio, whatever. But the podcast, the way we're kind of like doing it, we try to keep it as natural as it can be, because that's how I would prefer to see the organic side of like people, because there's a lot of actors, a lot of fake personas out there. So I would preferably want us to have that more organic, that somebody that sees us in the podcast can guess that's how we behave like in our normal day-to-day as well. So it's pretty similar, you know. So if somebody says that you're an asshole here over here, they can know that you're most likely an asshole out of the camera too, not like you're a good character here and then you're an asshole out in the streets. So yeah, that sounds definitely. But yeah, that would be my main, like, definitely have more like more people to come up and put the episode, and then do the idea that I mentioned, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
That's
For
pretty
sure.
much it.
I got you.
Do you have specific?
I don't have any specific thing. The podcast guest, for sure. If we can find someone who is willing to participate, it would be very good thing, especially if it would be a female, because all throughout all this challenge we had only guys. Like testosterone, you can smell it through the camera.
Ooh, that's gay, bro.
How?
That's gay, bro.
How? Argue. Elaborate.
That's gay, bro.
Argue.
So one of the guys is gonna be like, why the hell would I want to smell guy?
What you mean smell good? Smell testosterone. It's
That's gay, bro.
It's not gay.
That's gay, bro. I want to smell females, bro.
No, that's not gay.
What? Exactly. That's not gay. Smell of females. That's not
Either
gay.
way, it's not gay.
That's crazy.
Nobody goes and says, that smells like guys. No, nobody says like that. That's gay.
Right, that's gay, bro. this episode gonna be like, this is very anti-gay. So this is very anti-gay.
Look. Do you see that person? He's gay.
Hey, come closer. Yeah, I can see that. I can see in your eyes right now.
Gay.
Oh, ban. Nah, we just joking. Hey, you can be whatever you want to be. Just remember two genders. What?
Yeah, stay in your lane.
Stay
in your lane.
Stay in your lane.
But yeah, for sure, female guests, especially if we can have like professional for that field that we will talk about. Yeah, for sure, it would be awesome.
Not even professional. I mean, just somebody to challenge, because
That's why I said professional. If we talk about therapy, for example, not, but we talk about therapy, for example, and they're professional about therapy. She can also, like you said, challenge that idea of therapy in itself, that how we view it. But if there is someone who is just a regular Joe or Daisy, and they come here and we ask questions, and they cannot answer the question in a way that is either funny or elaborate, we don't want that kind of podcast, and we don't want that kind of attention. I'm sorry, girls. I'm sorry, guys. All I'm saying is there are a lot of people who are not that smart. And that's okay.
I plead the fifth.
And that's okay. It doesn't need to be, and you don't need to be smart. It's not a need. What you need is to be open-minded. You have to be okay with the fact that if you come in this show that we are doing, this, you come to do this content, you're willing to have that honest conversation. Even if you are not, let's say you talk about therapy and you don't understand jack what we are talking about
Jack
here.
shit.
If you don't understand, I'm honest, if you don't understand anything that we talk about here, at least be honest about it. At least be open about it, and at least have your own opinions rather than having opinion from a
XYZ.
from a TikTok that you watched. Like, is nothing wrong with your TikTok that you watch, but is it your opinion? Is it the best opinion that you have? Is it the opinion that you thought for yourself? Or is it that you take a blueprint and say, this is how it is, and then we challenge you, and all of a sudden you try to spin it out to a different thing? And I believe when this channel grows and keeps continuing, there will be moments where I'm talking to myself in my mind, like, see, what happened was...
What happened
was...
You know, when X meets a Y and a Z, and then makes it 2 minus N is equal to X.
And then you take a left turn.
Pretty much, and then you circle around. The weight of the things become
Equal to...
Yes, gravitational.
You know.
Some type of like that, you know, with the black hole and all that. Some along that line, you know. Tough thoughts.
You get. Yeah, for sure. Female guests would brighten up a little bit, or not brighten, but change perspective. But yeah, for sure, other guests that we haven't invited. Now we are trying our best to research people who would be good for this podcast, that they could come, they could sit, they could have that laugh and joy and blast, but also we could talk about very sensitive and very deep topics. Now, there are two parts. First part is that how many people are comfortable with this that we are doing. But the second thing is that we are not living in a city where it's like a big city, where are a lot of people, and there are a lot of people who could come into our podcast. So we have to make adjustments. We have to make decisions, compromisation. But as you can see, we are very capable of doing a podcast, even with just the two of us. Other than that, when it comes to the subjects and topic and the theme in itself, I would like it to be more like where you can actually be more practical with it. That I would say that would be more for my taste, because we have, even in therapy that we have, yeah, it's very practical, but I'm talking about the real life action.
What can I do with this information?
What can I do with this information? I would say it's not a subject or a theme, but it certainly is a thing that I would like to add even more when it comes to next season that we will do. But when it comes to a topic or a theme, I haven't thought that out that much.
Personally, I don't see, at least right now, based on what we've done previously, I don't see any benefit on trying to force a topic in a
Yeah.
sense, because it's much more, how would I say, easier for me, for example, because right now, this episode, we were like, oh yeah, well, what we gonna do? We're just gonna do that.
Yeah.
Simple as that. Do we
Yeah,
have
yeah.
a proper structure of how we're gonna talk? Not really, but it's much more fluid for me to like speak on it and like create sentences around it and so
Yes,
on,
sir.
so on. So that's why I'm like, let's not try to like forcefully force something into nothing and let it happen in a sense.
If you want to actually have that flow that generate that attention to us, let's just talk about this situation in politics.
An internal subject.
We can forget about it.
Like it is, it was, it was, it wasn't, it was, when it was, why it was, how it was.
All I can say, it would be a very hot
It's
topic.
very hot topic, very problematic.
Oh. But yeah, these are our thoughts. Any last words?
Bro, we got a shitty ass weather. Not gonna lie. That's my hot topic.
That's not even a lie.
That's not shitty ass weather. But other than that, not really personally appreciate whoever. Even if you came in middle of this, this is your first episode that you have watched from Opinion Outlaws. We appreciate you definitely, and we appreciate the ones that have seen the whole season as well and the previous season. Thank you for tagging along. We pretty much would like to entertain you more in the future, but y'all gotta, you know what you gotta do. You gotta do the buttons and all that. You gotta click, like, clap, pow, pow, like, subscribe, and comment down below. All that good shit. But yeah, in my part, I don't really have much. Appreciate y'all. Thank you very much, and appreciate it for the duo teamwork we got going on over here. We'll be doing good in my opinion, and constantly improving. And that's that pretty much. Oh, do you have any final thoughts that you would like to cherish to our finest viewers we got going on out there?
Hey, you summarized it pretty well. I have to appreciate every last viewer and every last listener that we have, from the day one to the day that we are doing.
Dos, tres.
And I have to appreciate it because it's not an easy thing to do. Even to listen, it's not an easy thing. Because a lot of times there can be certain things that you may not like, or attention is not that fixated in the same way that is in TikTok. But other than that, I don't have much to add on to that. I just appreciate that we can do this, and I am thankful to God that we can have this show running. Other than that, I just hope that every little prayer that you do will be answered, and God is watching you for the whole time.
God is good.
God is good.
Amen.
Other than that, thank you for watching. Like he said, you know what to do with the buttons over there.
The crazy buttons down there again.
And for the next time, we will see.
Yes, sir. Y'all know what to do.
Yes, sir. Peace.
Peace.